This is Lake Valley, an inappropriately named city I abandoned 2,706 days ago. This is my first large city with a population of 112,000 the last time I saved, and I remember building this city and being really proud of it until I became overwhelmed by traffic. And it was about that time that I started making questionable decisions like this one, and all of these ones, and especially this one. I want to fix this city and bring it into 2023 using the skills I've gained since 2015, as well as my favorite mods and all of the DLCs and content creator packs that have been released since I last saved, which is literally all of them. This is going to be a big job, and we're going to have to break it into multiple episodes if we're going to do it right. And today we're going to start right here in the industrial district, which I think might be the most broken part of the city. I've gone bridge crazy here and concentrated most of the industrial uses on the map into this one location. And in future episodes, we'll take on other major projects until we hit a traffic flow of 80% and have modern transit and bike networks. And we're going to try to do all of this as quickly as possible, making this place look amazing along the way. And if you like diving into old builds and fixing them up, hit the like button. And if you'd prefer I do something else, hit the like button for that too, and let me know what kinds of videos you prefer. And if you have nothing to say, why not just drop an emoji that reminds you of the map? It helps with engagement. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. Before we dive in, I wanted to talk about the map a little bit. So this is a map from Payapanyu based upon Astoria, Oregon. Now, I think that this map actually holds up pretty well today. There are some wonky features about it, and the height map is definitely exaggerated, but I think it's pretty good. All resources are available, and this is a map that I think is still fun to build on today. If you're curious about this map, there'll be a link down in the video description. Next, I've restarted and reloaded into the save, and I wanted to do that for one specific reason. We are about to see some significant population changes. Right now, we've got about 112,000 in population, but I'm going to resume this and let's check out what happens. 26,000 people immediately disappeared. Now, I've got a couple of hypotheses as to why this is happening. First of all, I have a couple of assets that I just couldn't find. They no longer exist in the workshop. These are single family homes, so I don't think it should have a huge impact on the build. The other guess of mine is that the simulation has fundamentally changed since 2015, and as a result, it's rebaselining itself. I think that that's probably what it is, but if you have an idea, drop it in the comments and let me know what you think. Now I want to go over a couple of overall map fixes that we need to make. So I didn't know much about the economy of the game at the time, and I didn't adjust the taxes. And we are bleeding money. Now there's a few reasons for this, but we can adjust some of it right here. And now we know that everyone can handle 12% taxes, whatever that means. So we're gonna crank the taxes to 12 and hopefully stabilize our budget just a bit. Next, we have a number of these monuments over here. And monuments are interesting. I mean, they provide some unique replayability at the end of the game. I do like the space elevator as a monument. What I don't like, and I think I've mentioned this in other videos before, is the Eden Project. What the Eden Project does is takes your land value and maximizes it everywhere. This, in my mind, takes away a lot of the fun of the game. You don't need parks anymore. You don't need anything that would raise land value, and everyone lives in a utopia. And I also have noticed that it makes it a little bit more difficult to grow the city, at least in this particular save. It could be a weird thing going on with this. We've got a number of other unique buildings that we need to contend with as well. We've got the medical center right here, so that eliminates our need for hospitals entirely. We've got this collider right here, which takes care of all of the educational needs. And then we've got the fusion power plant, which basically covers 100% of the power needs, which is interesting because we have solar plants over here. So that means that we're kind of just burning money. For the time being, we're going to get rid of some of our power plants, and we will eliminate that fusion power plant in the future. But for the time being, we might as well at least take advantage of it, and we'll adjust our budget accordingly as well, drop this all the way down, and that shouldn't impact us in a significant way. Yeah, we still have twice as much power as we need, so we are completely fine there. The rest of these I'll leave for now. For the medical center and for the education, we're going to need to really rethink education in the entire community as a result of this. And now I want to talk about some overall map issues that I've noticed, and that is I had a really significant love of tunneling when I created this map. In fact, I created a bunch of pretty unreasonable tunnels, And I think that as we're beginning, we're going to just eliminate some of these and deal with the consequences as they come. This tunnel right here is the most curious in the entire city. Now, this is actually a train tunnel, and the reason it exists is because we have a cargo train terminal. This should not be here. We're going to get rid of this and the tunnels. And then there are a number of these really long tunnels that just kind of stretch all the way across the map. I'm going to keep this one. This to me seems to be a rational-ish tunnel. At least it's an arterial. These local tunnels that span a mile, we're not going to do that here. All right, and I've gotten rid of most of the most egregious tunneling madness, and you can see that there just aren't many tunnels now. There's just a purposeful tunnel here, and we are going to tunnel in certain locations. We just need to not make them crazy, and they can't be for the sake of cheating. In a similar vein, I want to talk about bridges, because in the area that we're going to work in today, there are a ton of bridges, and we can get rid of some of these. This, for instance, we're dropping down here to get to a bridge. This whole area should have never been developed, so we'll get rid of that. We'll keep this as a local connection. This bridge right here, we're going to use the unified UI and the set slope mode, and we're going to slope this right up. And we have a car tornado, but that's okay. What you can see here is that this just makes a ton more sense now. I'm going to extend this bridge out. We'll have the nice truss bridge. And then throughout here, you see I've kind of just jammed in some bridges. We're going to need to give some of these more thought. I think that we're going to need to think about roadway hierarchy through here. I'm going to make it this road right here. The thought being that we're going to extend this into this district later, and this could be a kind of a minor arterial going through here. And we'll get rid of this one as well. This is a set of dams, and they're carrying a ridiculous amount of traffic. We don't need the power, so I'm going to get rid of both of those. And then basically all of the bridging here, we're going to eliminate these and create some new bridges later. And we have one more dam to remove, and that's right here. Again, this is just kind of a dam for the sake of there being a dam. And on the last transportation topic, it actually... two more transportation topics. This is madness. Here it goes. Here it goes. Woo, it missed it. It missed it. Good flight path there. I don't know that this one is going to get quite so lucky. There it is. Oh, right through the side of the cliff. Goodbye, airport. we already have two airports. We'll talk about this in a future episode as well. We got these two airports kind of stacked. We don't need a third passenger airport in the middle of an agricultural field. I think I know what I was going for there. It just didn't quite work. And then I want to talk about our transit system. So we've got decent utilization. So you see we've got 6,709 resident trips per week and 623 tourist trips per week. Now, most of these are occurring on the bus, and the bus routes are absolutely insane. So we're going to struggle with these as we reconfigure the roadway network. So rather than having that struggle, I'm just going to go through and get rid of all of the routes. We need to rethink this. The biggest problems I see here are that we're basically not giving people the opportunity to walk to transit. We're saying everyone has a stop in front of their house, and that's not reality. In fact, I've had that conversation with residents before. That's not the way a bus works. You get to walk to a bus if it's within a quarter mile of your house. That is considered reasonable. And if it's higher quality transit than that, think bus rapid transit, think light rail station, the expectation could be that you walk even further than quarter mile, could be half mile. So just depends. And this is not following those rules here. So we're just going to get rid of all 58 bus routes. Okay, I've made everyone throughout the entire city sad. So with that in mind, we're going to need to bring back transit in the future. And then the last thing I want to do is address the trees. The trees that we have here are just huge. They're the vanilla trees. I don't love these. We're going to switch them out for the new vanilla trees. And I could obviously do more, but this is good enough for me. There are many different places that we could begin. We're going to basically rethink this entire area right here. I do think that this area is, for the most part, okay, and we probably won't touch it that much. The biggest problem that I see on the map right now is our rail network. So you can see it's just lumpy, bumpy, and ugly. We already got rid of one portion of the rail network, little downtown cargo station. We're going to get rid of all of it now and rethink it and really make this look good. All right, and I've basically eliminated 100% of the rail network through here, and I've turned on our contours. And the main reason for that is you can see where there's this patch without trees. This is basically just going up the hillside. And this is really what we need to think about with all of these area fixes. We need to respect our topography, and that was something that I didn't really do. The map maker didn't always do, and that is a concern for me. You can see we've got this road just going up the side of a hill here. I was really opposed, for whatever reason, to using the terrain modifying tools, and we are no longer going to be opposed to that. We are going to embrace them and really use them to our advantage. So one of the ways that we're going to do that is to put the train here. To me, this is a more logical location for it. And then the added bonus is we're potentially not crossing the highway as much. If we can replace maybe this road with the train track, that would be a good location for it. And I'm going to eliminate this. We've already got a bunch of land right here available, and it's fairly flat. And then we can modify this area to make this work. So this is a large recycling center, and I loved using these back in the day, along with large advanced incineration plants. They're fine assets, but we don't need to sprinkle them all over the place. We can concentrate those. So I'm going to make a place for those, along with finding a place for our train track. And I'm going to eliminate this road right here. I know that that arterial is going to change, so we'll just preemptively remove that. I am going to place the cargo train terminal right here. And what I'm thinking about is the angle that we're going to use to cross. And we're going to come right about here with where this road is. And I'm actually going to back that out even further. So I'm going to call a bit of a mulligan. And the reason why is I don't want to get too close to this ramp right here, which we're going to have to fix in the future. And that's pretty ugly, but we can go into our network multi-tool and use our arrange at line mode, select this junction right here and right there. And one of the reasons I'm okay with this is you'd expect the trains to be going slowly through here anyway, so why not have your turn right away? And this is going to be a monster cul-de-sac for a little while, but what it gives us the opportunity to do is send our train track down here parallel. So I'm very interested in that. So let's select our train track, and then we'll go into our create parallel mode, tab this over. If you hold down shift, you can move 10 steps. It looks like it's underground view, but it's fine. And then I hit just hitting plus to get this to move over. It's going up a little bit. We can fix that if it has issues. And then over here, I think I actually went too far. We'll send that out, and we'll again make another one of those ugly connections because we can. We will arrange at line, hit enter, and that is a very nice train connection. We are going to just check our slopes though. That's going to be something that we do all the time today. So now I'm going to soften the terrain to make this look a little bit better. And I broke the cardinal rule. When you're softening the terrain, you should probably use a pretty light step because you can really screw things up quickly. Oh yeah, I like that. And then to really clean things up here, and these are the sorts of things that back in the day I just was not comfortable with at all. We're gonna key wall this. And I don't think we're gonna go all that far, but that should be good enough for now. Now I can do a lot of what I just did because I have anarchy on, but it's still possible without it. Just takes a lot more finagling with the river, and I'm thrilled not to have to do that. Now I want to make sure that our key wall is the same height as our road. You kind of see that there is something going on here where it looks like the key wall is dropping down just a bit. Not a huge deal, but we're going to use our marquee selection tool and then Control H this to this road right here. That is good enough for me. So now I want to send this down, and we're going to need to come in with this track as well. And I think we're going to drop down and potentially connect at an angle. We'll come to that in just a moment. I want to eliminate this road all the way through here. And before you become very alarmed that we're crossing the road this many times, we're not going to eventually go ahead and cul-de-sac many of these roads off and sever the connectivity, but that's that'll come a little bit later on. going 12 units up, which is kind of that magic height number. And I'm going to back it out. I really don't want to have any conflicts with this collector right here. So we'll try to elevate it beforehand. Through here, I want to take out this road. This is where we're going to have another cargo train station. Wow. The traffic backups here are absolutely insane. So I've tried to keep this incline again very gentle. We're going to replace this with our cargo train terminal, and then I'm going to connect this up right here. And I really like the way that this is turning out. What we're going to do here is think about this cargo train station. And there are a couple of ways that we could approach this. I think I'm going to run this right off the main line here, but we've got to change this roadway network. So these are some pretty severe modifications to this area, but I think it's totally worth it and totally necessary. And now we need to find a way to make our final connection through here. And I think I'm going to take this road right here and use this as our rail right of way. Oh, and we're going to have to use some significant eminent domain here. There we go. That is beautiful. And now we just need to make our final connection and we should be good to go here. There we go. That is considerably better. This network is nice. And we've got one more connection to make and then we're done. For this one, I want to go underneath the highway and then up and over. It looks like it boosted us up there, so we'll need to adjust that height down the line. That's okay. There we go. And I don't know that this is the most realistic solution for this, but if you are a big fan of rail and you know, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've seen something similar to this. I kind of like it. That doesn't mean it's right. And I think I could leave these nodes just as they are, but I am going to try to clean them up. The way that you can do this is just basically click into here with node controller, control N, slide this one back, slide these ones over, and I try to get these two bits right here to line up nicely. Then you got to go into move it when it looks like this and just kind of wiggle it a little bit.
So I'd like to see you wiggle for sure.
Pretty darn good in my opinion. And we do the same thing in all the rest of these. And then over here, we should be good. The one place we're not so good is with our heights. So we are going to fix that. And then lastly, we'll slope out to here. And the nice thing is we can bring this as far back as we want. But we don't even need to go that far back to get a decent height. Now we'll just feather this out and make it look pretty good. So I think that this is pretty good. I think the one place that we could potentially improve things here would be to have some sort of turnaround back here for the trucks. There we go. This is looking good. We've got some trains carefully navigating this. It is a thing of beauty. Now that we've got our rail done, I want to think about our highway network a little bit, and we're going to continue to chip away at our roadway network as we do this. First of all, we've got this frontage road here, which looks like a collector. This is going to impact our highway, so I'm going to eliminate this right here. And then what I really want to do is make this slope here a little bit better. So let's see what this looks like. And that's really bad. That's 20% and it'll only get down to 14. So we're going to use this to figure out where we should be. Okay, so I tested a few heights here and this is where we need to be. That is considerably lower than we currently are. We're going to use that as the foundation for where we need to be with this. And that means that our highway is likely going above our collector, which I don't like doing. The reason I don't like doing that is that we have two bridge spans instead of one. The one reason I'm okay with this here is we're going to have one added benefit. I'm going to grade separate this. So I wasn't going to do that initially, but with this already here, there's no real reason not to. If we're already dropping this down, let's just go all the way. Let's just do it all. Okay, and I made a big mistake. So I thought this was going to be simple. It was not, because I'd already modified this node. I had to basically reconstruct this, but that's okay. You didn't have to see it. Nothing is wrong. Over here, what we're going to do is elevate this segment right here. And these are not exactly where I want them to be. I'm going to use a rural road to make myself a couple of new nodes. And now you might have been noticing something. I did not use lane mathematics. That was my problem initially. I got very fixated on lane mathematics, and it was really to an unhealthy extent. Because of that, it looked pretty terrible. I think that you don't always need to think about it. That's my take on it. Better way of doing this is probably to think about where you need turning lanes, and that's what we're going to be doing. And you might be surprised to see these 2U 4-lane roads. That is from Network Extensions, and that was something that I used initially in this. And Network Extensions 2 has been revived, and it completely works to bring an old save back to life. Now we're going to come into our highway segments, and I just want to expand some of these out so that we have left and right-hand turn lanes. Very good. We can leave that there. Not going to worry about it. I am going to worry about this, though. We're going to start our little utilities campus over here. I'll get our contours back on. Fairly flat right here. This is way too long of a cul-de-sac, but we will cross that bridge down the line. Right now, I just need to get things working. Okay, so now we've got this over here. This is running. It's got power. It's got crime. We're doing really well. You have this police right here, but they can't get over to this area. Oh, that's the problem. So we are going to need to do something about this. And this is pretty much a necessity right now. That's the problem with cul-de-sacking. You could cut off your one way in, and now you have no ways out. So that's what we're running into. Temporarily, I'm going to run this along the backside. There we go. So that will allow police to at least get here, which is going to be important. But this whole area, we're going to think about it in a different way shortly. I want to finish taking out this frontage road while we're thinking about it. This is really a part of the greater highway complex anyway. This interchange is not perfectly straight. And again, it's kind of doing what we're doing over here, which I said I don't love, but it's not the end of the world. So I might leave this one for the most part, just kind of clean up some of the mess right here for whatever reason. It's just not straight, and we could use some extra turn lanes. So I could not help myself. I could tell that this was not straight and I had to fix it. Now we'll add those turn lanes. It's just really uneven. It kind of drives me nuts. You see all the pillars are off. I'm going to use Anarchy to force new pillars in. And then we're going to slope from there. And then again, we are going to just roll with our 3-lane highway all the way across. It's going to be just fine. Then I do want to hit this with the node controller just to clean up these edges. We're going to have to see what's happening here. Something very bizarre is happening, and lots of folks, for whatever reason, are feeling like they need to make some pretty irregular movements. I might give a dedicated turn lane. Maybe that'll correct this here. And I'm going in the node controller. I'm going to shift this edge to line up with this. Hold down shift, select this edge here, shift it over here, and now it looks like a turn lane. And hopefully that helps out. And I'm going to actually go a little ham here. And this is probably a bad solution. For the time being, it might just be the only solution that we have. There's just way too much industrial over here. We'll have to address that. And this is the next issue. This is totally broken. So this is unnecessary. We've got an interchange right here, another one right here. These roads are connected, so I don't know why this is here. What this would be more valuable as would likely be some sort of local bridge across connecting these two districts. So that's what we'll do. And for whatever reason, we drop to the ground for just a moment here. I'm going to elevate that as well. And that should give us a really nice slope. Yeah, that's 3 now. Whoa! Cars all over the place. I love that. And that is considerably better. This is still way too much industrial, and we'll address that in a minute. But I want to focus on these last 2 interchanges right here. This is clearly an old one, and you can tell because local roads are being used to make these connections. Let's use all of the tools at our disposal now and make this look nice using only highway segments, which will make this much more efficient. Whoa, we are having some issue with our water treatment, and that, oh, I see it. So you might be wondering what these little assets are, and they are water purifiers. I used to use these all the time because I hated the water system in the game, so I just skip it. This is how I would do it. Now, the problem is if this, for whatever reason, becomes disconnected from power, you lose water and sanitary. So it's a very big issue. So this should do the trick for us, get us reconnected. There we go. That was a little scary there. This interchange is mostly done. It's a little bit ugly. I think it's going to be unless I really dive into the weeds fixing it. Okay, so the big thing here that we need to worry about is traffic control. So right here, we've got a signal that is terrible. We're going to get rid of that. And then we want to have our lane markers. This is like one of the few places where I think it is 100% mandatory. Control S would not have worked right here, but that will do the trick. And right here's another spot. Just make sure that people aren't making that inappropriate movement on here. And then we can slope out a few more things just to ensure that we have our best heights. Now this came with the map, and boy, oh boy, is it a mess. Oh, so is this. We have a highway. There's still tornadoes going on. I see a car flying around from time to time. But what we had here was a necking down. There's just a lot of lanes. Like there's not following lane mathematics, and then there's going ham. And that's what has happened here. Okay, so this isn't absolutely perfect. I didn't do any intersection marking, but I do think that it's considerably better than it was before. And basically what I've done is just gone through and tried to fix slopes, correct bridges as needed, and then straighten out these merging areas inside of Node Controller. Looking good there, and I think from our highway standpoint, with the exception of going through and fixing our sloping all the way around, we're in a pretty good spot. Actually, I am going to lane math this up. There's no reason to really not have proper lane mathematics right here. And then we'll control where folks are coming in right here. Using TMPE, we'll just go into our lane connector, click here, Control S, stay in your lane, and that should solve our issues. They can merge somewhere on the bridge or whatnot. We'll do the exact same thing here and a few other select locations like this where it seems that we're having a couple of issues. There we go. That should resolve some of our issues, clean up our traffic flow through here, and it seems like it's doing the trick. Let's just back away from the highway because there are really 2 more big things I want to handle. Number 1 is we've got to fix our local roadway network, and that is, again, respecting the topography, and we've got to adjust our land uses. So our local roadway network is broken. So I'm going to get rid of things like this viaduct that I thought I got rid of already and move some of our utilities as well. And I'm going to convert this to a highway to kind of speed some of these movements along, because right now it's pretty slow. It's a long ways away. And I want to use the parallel tool for this. We'll get a little bit creative with it. And let's run this right along the side here, a road. And then plus to back this out. And then obviously that looks pretty bad. What we're going to do is add a key wall here. So I will select the key wall, and then we're going to parallel that there as well. And I'll use minus to pull this nice and tight. There we go. It's kind of extra, but I think it looks pretty neat. I like it. So that's why we did it, just because I like it. And let's get our water pipes underneath here as well. There we go. So that'll be our little campus. We need to find another way out of here eventually, but that is not a now thing. That'll get a lot of this traffic out of here though. I want to save as much of the existing grid as I can, and I want it to be logical. I got way too close to the highway, and there is an easy solution there. Let's select our local road, and then we'll go into our parallel road tool, and I'm just going to follow the highway. Now we've got to select all of our intersections here, tab this over, and then again holding shift. I think I'm going to back this out maybe 100 meters, then hit enter here, and then we'll just back these out and make our connections in. And now that I've reestablished the grid and come up with a nicer frontage road and lots of fires, I want to think about this collector up here. So this is not in a good location right now. We're going to fix that. And the way that we fix that is by respecting our topography. So all of this stuff on the hillside, we're going to get rid of it. And now I want to follow the contour lines when I'm designing this road. What we've done here is used our contours and worked around, and you can see that this connection here just makes a ton more sense. What I want to do to finish this off, turn this road in here, and this will be a nice cut through in the back end to be able to get here. And then we're at least respecting our topography a bit more. Maybe we don't have to get rid of this road, we just redirect it just a little bit. Oh yeah, I like that a ton more. That is going to be great. And then we'll come through here. There we go. That is going to be absolutely outstanding right here. So now I want to slope this up a little bit. There we go. That is really good. So around here, we're going to do the exact same thing. I want to create that road around here. So I know that I've talked about not wanting to make all that many connections into an arterial from a local road, but you can make some. And I think some we will make. Now, I just want to treat it similar to the collector. You don't want all that many of them. So maybe every 4 blocks will go. That should be good enough. Okay, so a lot of work has been done right here. And what I've done is severed all of these connections, except for the through connections that go all the way to the arterial through here. Every 4 blocks, you get a connection, and we have frontage roads. I think it's generally a pretty good layout in comparison to what we had before. And then in between here, now we have a logical place to add in a viaduct or connection across if we wanted to. And rather than doing that, I think what we're going to do is actually lower the highway through here. There we go. So now we've got a viaduct through here and one more spot to slope out, and we should be totally set in this area in terms of our roadway layout. And I think that this is a considerably better layout. We still got a lot of traffic right here, but as we continue to improve this area, I think this is going to die down. Now I want to focus here because this is our biggest mess. So basically we have a lot of funneling occurring and way too many junctions on our principal roadways. So what we're going to do here is rethink and reimagine this area. And I think we need to know where our arterials and collectors are. So obviously we've got our arterial right here. I might even formalize that just so for our benefit, we can see it. And that will change our junctions here. That's the only drawback to doing this. Yeah, I don't love what just happened. We'll give that some thought down the line. But I want to get rid of all of these crazy viaducts now. Isolate this road right here. What we're going to do with this is find a connection over to here. And I think that connection is likely maybe this diagonal, because this could provide us access to this area in the future and maybe even a natural place to tunnel through. And that's really what we're looking for. So let's add that road here. And you might have noticed I've got two of these 2U 4-lane roads. That's the network extensions version and then the vanilla version. Why don't we start moving over to our vanilla, and maybe down the line, we'll bring Ron in here and completely remove network extensions. Lots of eminent domain through here to make this diagonal road. The only problem that I'm seeing is I don't know how we get underneath this bridge. So even though this isn't the shortest bridge span, I think I'm going to send it through right here. And we'll do that. So just reorient this a bit. So lots of junctions. It's kind of a mess. And then from here, I want this road to turn into this. The other solution is this. That should do the trick. So this becomes a through road right here. Yeah, I think I like that. That'll do the trick for us. So we are going to need some sort of arterial connection through here as well, or collector rather. Adjust this, use this 4-lane road again, and that's how we'll get over to this hub. And that means that we can reuse this bridge over here. I talked about not wanting to get rid of these bridges because I wasn't sure of what we were doing with them yet. This is what I'm talking about. So we now have a collector here, and we have this garbage facility dumping onto the collector. That is not what we want. We'll turn that around. And then I'm going to make these block sizes a bit bigger so we have fewer connections through to our collector here. And then I'm going to change this. So there's way too many roadway junctions through here, and that is going to slow down traffic. And I used a lot of firehouses and things of that nature through here. I don't know that we're going to want to keep that either. We might want to do something a bit more modest. I think if we wanted to get cheeky with it, we could throw in a roundabout here. I think I'm going to do that because we are kind of in that spot now where maybe we need to have some creative solutions. And I think we need to wholesale rethink this. Too many bridges, and the layout doesn't quite work for what we're doing. So I'm going to eliminate this. It's too close to the highway. And I think we really only need one road back here. I'm going to clone this, and then we'll parallel the highway again. And again, 100 meters. I'm going to take this, and this is going to be a local connection that we don't currently have. And this connection will connect us up over here. I'm hoping that this takes some of the pressure off from this interchange, because it just is kind of relentless right now. And then we can send this through all the way here as well. And this is another situation where we've got to get away from the highway. And I think that the Department of Transportation would likely request that anyway. They would never let it get that close to the highway. Okay, so that should work a little bit better for us. And I've backed everything out, and it looks so much better in my mind. And then we've got this connection underneath here. The heights are good because we've already established this. And now we can just connect this up nicely as well. And this road, I think, is eventually going to carry a considerable amount of traffic. We are going to need to do a few things, though, to make that happen. And again, I want to mirror this connection over here. So we're going to get rid of this bridge and this one and this one. You don't create bridges all willy-nilly like, and that's what I was doing. And then we'll just line up with our old roadway network. And the nice thing is this arrange at line mode can really help you when you're connecting an old roadway network to a new one, make it look very, very natural. All right, we've got all of those in place. And now over here, I want to reimagine what we're doing along this arterial. This is just way too many connections. I want to cut it in half at a minimum, if not more. So what I'm going to do again is parallel this road. And on either side of this, we're going to actually do both sides, shift plus, and we'll send this back 100 meters. Actually, why don't we go even further? We'll go back 150. That is where we'll reorient our grid. I'm going to turn off anarchy for a minute so I can move this over. And all of these roads going in, we're going to sever them. Okay, on this side, what we've done is basically mirror this road up here and cut the number of connections in half. I still have these roads going up here, and hopefully this allows some pedestrian connectivity, but I don't want any vehicles coming through here. And then I'm backing this off from the interchange because it's way too close. And we'll do the exact same thing on this side. And then the other solution that we're going to employ right here is we're going to add some fences along here to prevent zoning from popping up along our collector or our arterial right here, which I think we're going to actually take back down to a collector. And that is a significantly better roadway layout. And I might give one more bridge back here.
Nice.
And let's get our fences in to block off the zoning along these roads. And then we will zone everything in. And here I'm just going to use grid. It just makes it very simple to add these in. I think that should be good enough. I will try to be careful with this. Now I'm going to reserve this area as an industrial area. We'll keep everything over here basically industrial. Along here, we're going to switch this out to be commercial. We've got some demand for that. We really have no industrial demand, so to speak of. And then over here, again, that commercial. Oh, and look what I've done. I'm drying out the river because my new bridges are not bridges. I think the other ones are okay. That is going to work well for us. I don't know what happened here with our lack of zoning, so I'm just going to come through and try it again. Seems like it did the trick for us. The terrain heights are a little bit wonky too. We could fix that while we're here. There we go. I feel very good about all of that. What I don't feel good about is the last bit of zoning we have to do over here. Right now, this is no good. Let's just wholesale remove the zoning. No more industrial through here. This is going to be where we resolve some of our commercial and residential demand. We still got a lot of backing up right here too. And I think that this is where I panicked a bit, and you don't need to panic. Things will work themselves out over time. So the idea here will be, I will try to refrain from zoning along this arterial, and then along these collectors, we'll go commercial. And then this is pretty suburban, so I think we're going to have mostly residential outside of those areas. I never fixed the heights here. We're going to do that right now. There we go. That is better. And now we can zone our commercial along here. And I'm going to basically ignore city services for now. We need to really reconsider that in the future once we don't have all of our crazy cheater utilities and monuments and things of that nature. Now, just because this is suburban doesn't mean we shouldn't have some corner shops from time to time. So I'm going to add in a few of those. All right, that is pretty good. I think the big thing is we're going to inhibit our development if we don't have some power over here. So I'll just connect across the highway. I think what we need to do now is let this thing fill in a little bit. And I want to talk a little bit about this area as well. And I want to basically establish a hierarchy through here. we have this road, and look at that. All of our traffic is cleared up through here. What we don't have are very many collectors that are going this way. And I think that's where this road right here comes in. So I'm going to take this and make this a 4-lane road. Maybe this is where we use some of our content creator pack buildings. Truthfully, I haven't used any yet. And let me see if we've got a 4-lane road. Here's an American Truss Bridge. And I like that. That's an attractive bridge. 4 lanes, carries lots of traffic. And then we'll bring this right back down. And this is the one that we're just going to extend out to our other new collector. Maybe it's a minor arterial, hard to say right now. And I could see coming at this and turning it in and making it a nice 90. So lots of eminent domain right here. We'll pull this in, curve that in nicely at a 90. Some interesting, strange, bizarre blocks. We'll figure those out in the future. And then I want to run those through here as well. And this has to go. This is building on the beach. I don't like it. I don't understand why it's there. It doesn't make any logical sense to me. And speaking of that, I'm going to get rid of some of this sand as well. Since we're over here, we're not doing a lot in this area. It's fairly residential and commercial, but we can do this. And we can remove these trees that are on the beach. And we can slope this out a little bit better. So I'm going to turn the brush strength down, use this as the top height, bottom out here. Okay, and that wasn't super necessary, but I thought if we're going to have a beach here, let's make it look like a beach. And that looks a ton better to me. Nice sloped beach with sand. We could obviously continue to clean this up, and we flooded everything out over here, so that's not ideal, but it's okay. And this whole neighborhood could really use a bit of love from a terrain standpoint, heights. But I think I'm going to try to step away. No, I can't do it. Okay, so I think this looks a ton better. The thing that doesn't look a ton better is our population. I think part of that is our garbage is disconnected, so we'll get that resolved. There are our utilities reconnected. I think the rest of the city's okay. There's just a lot of dead bodies. Let's see if there's anything that we can do to resolve that. Holy cow, 362 bodies. We're not going to grow until that's resolved. So we have these better crematoriums, and I'm just not going to do any of that. We'll just go with our old assets that we know work, and we'll go with our cryopreservatory. And it seems like things are blanketed well, but still not working well. That's probably due to our roadway network kind of being terrible. So we'll look at that in just a moment, but I want to place a few of these. I'm going to place maybe 5 of these in an effort to resolve this. So I placed 5 of those. And then the other thing I'm going to do is this is not a highway segment, this long tunnel, but we have the ability to do that now. So I don't know why we wouldn't. So let's upgrade this to a highway. This national road is actually part of network extensions. I wish that it were part of the vanilla game. I thought that it was, but I guess it's not. It'll increase the speeds along here, and that's our real benefit. And then I will adjust our slopes as well. Ideally, I think that we wouldn't have this junction before the tunnel too. I know this is not where we're supposed to be, but I think it's impacting us. So I'm going to do it. There we go. I think that's a ton better. Maybe it's not 100% perfect, but sometimes you have to live with a bit of imperfection. That is the imperfection that I'm happy to live with. So at this point, like I mentioned, I want to let this go for a little while. We've got some real challenges here. We're not getting our goods when we're supposed to. Actually, I can't stop yet. We've got to adjust our collectors and our priority there. So I'm going to slow this down for a minute. We'll go into TMPE, and really what this comes down to is clicking on these roads that are our priority roads. And we'll give giveaway signs, even though it's kind of strange for me as an American to do that, but we'll do it anyway. And then at some of these junctions, I will turn on where we have a collector to collector connection or collector to arterial, we'll signalize those. And then we've got to be careful that we didn't create issues, because these always create a couple of issues. Look at this. We've got a giveaway sign on the highway. We don't want that. And we've got one here. That one's probably okay. Not a big deal. And then around the roundabout, we absolutely need to set this up as a roundabout. So we'll set that up, and hopefully that increases the speeds. We could also separate these lanes if we wanted to get real crazy, or just do this, which will increase the radii and allow you to enter the roundabout at a higher speed. That's generally, in reality, frowned upon, but it's a game and I want this to work well, so we'll do it. And I'm curious, we didn't set anything here. There we go. That's good enough. I'm happy with that. All right, I've let this run for a while now, and I started to see some significant issues with not enough goods available. So I did take a moment to add a few warehouses, which has helped some, but we have other issues. So I'm going to go through those because these are going to be what we need to fix in the next episode, most likely. And really, this all comes down to traffic. So if we look at our traffic flow, we see that this highway is absolutely being brutalized. And the reason why is this area right here. So there's a lot of really bad stuff happening right here. We've got an industrial district right here, a double airport, a passenger rail, a cargo harbor, a cargo rail, a passenger harbor, and then this big roundabout around a bunch of high density buildings. And our highway kind of just abruptly ends after the spaghetti, like I gave up on it. So I'm not sure what the deal is, but the ultimate result in this traffic is that we're not getting goods delivered throughout the map. We are seeing our people die and not get picked up. Ultimately, the result of that is that we are continually seeing rebuilding in our existing parts of the city rather than in our new parts. The other thing is I didn't add any services through here. And even though most of this is taken up by the monuments, I think that maybe adding a few services would help us out. The big thing being dog parks, and I mean parks in general. I didn't add any, so we're going to add some parks through here, and that should help us. Also use some eminent domain through here to connect this road up, because we don't really have cross connectivity through here in the way that we should. So I'm going to add a few parks through here, and I will also add in some police and fire coverage, and that should get us moving over here. Okay, I've added most city services over here and a number of parks, and that should get this area springing to life. So we are going to once again sit back and watch things fill in for a few minutes. I've let this go for a while now, and though we're starting to see some things fill in, it's a slow process. And a big part of that is the rest of the city is also still filling in. And the rest of it, again, is that traffic. So I do think that we have made some significant progress. We should take a look. You can see that though there are significant traffic, in this area, it's not backups. Traffic's still moving. And that's what I'm always looking for. Is the traffic still moving or is it backing up? If it's backing up, that's a problem. This is a problem. This is our big problem. And this is what we're going to have to focus on in the next one. This right here, this is manageable. We could add a little bit of capacity here and make this work. Not all that concerned about this. And again, some of this might be due to things actually filling in these areas. So it's hard to say whether this traffic is a problem or not. But there is one thing that's not a problem, and that is taking inventory of what we've done and having a brief city tour. I always love a good city tour, especially in a city where you're just becoming reacquainted. I think it is really nice. And this is a pretty city at night. I really do appreciate the way it looks, even if the spaghetti is over here killing everything and ruining everything in the city. We are going to resolve this, and we are going to make this a city that we can be proud of. And we are going to take the city and really pull it into this year. And I think we're making some good progress. I'm looking forward to incorporating some of the other DLCs as well. Some of the DLCs generally. Remember, this is pre-DLC, pre-content creator pack. But I do think today we're going to have to leave it here. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It really means a lot to me, and I appreciate the privilege of your time and for hanging out with me. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.